Do you want me to stand here?
There. Okay. Sebi, can you ask him to lower that? The volume on that
Can
thing?
you lower that? 'Cause Mom's gonna
Thank
go
you. Hey guys. Now I'm going to ask you guys how you're doing. I'm not. I just won't do it. I will not ask. As we've pretty much all heard. Okay, yeah, if you're new to the page, please hop off this live. You're welcome on the page, I guess, but just not really to these because you should watch some highlights first. Definitely before they get taken down. Start with SB 276, start with Lawless Lorena, you know. Okay, here we go. We understand that SB 276 just passed another appropriations, right? So this means it's going to go to the assembly floor. It gets a vote next week, and then if it passes that, it goes to the Senate floor for a concurrence vote. And if it passes there, then it goes straight to the governor for a signature. All right? We should continue to pray and hope that it does fail. Being at the Capitol just Tuesday and Wednesday, coming to the understanding from a lot of people that we spoke to that actually worked in the building, the governor and his wife, they don't want this bill. People have spoken to them. His wife especially is not on board with it. They need, though, to get more Democrats gung-ho for no mandates, which is going to be really, really, really hard to do, which is why he said the last time if SB 276 ends up on his desk, he will sign it, which really sucks. But we are, you know, it's easy to find assemblymen and women on the Republican side that are clearly against anything being forced. It's hard to convince the Democrats. And by the way, this is the party of my body, my choice. We couldn't expect a change of heart from Lorena. I don't mean to voice out the obvious, but if you're Pan or Lorena and you have, I'm not exactly going to be like, put yourself in their shoes. But put yourself in their horns, you know? If you have accepted money from the pharmaceutical company, if your pockets have already been lined by big pharma in the tens of thousands that they have given you, it's not just money that, you know, we forget. They don't just get hundreds of thousands of dollars and then like put it aside in a little bank account where they're like, oh, just in case I change my mind on stuff, I'll just give this money back. It's been spent. It's all been spent, you know? It pays for all their extracurriculars and their dirty activities on the side because you know these are some dirty, dirty people. It's probably been gambled away, you know? How's she going to pay that back? How is Lorena going to pay back hundreds of thousands of dollars to Big Pharma when they gave her the money to do what she is doing in the first place? They're not going to back down. So to pray that Lorena has a change of heart, to pray that Senator Pan has a change of heart, you might as well ask that, you know, God just strike them down. I'm not telling you to pray that God strikes them down. I'm just saying that's more along the lines of like what you would need to pray for, because it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You see what they go and tweet about right after? Do you see how parents chanting, raising a flag, an upside down flag, by the way, which many people are like, okay, why are they, if you don't know what the flag means when it's upside down, the practice has the origin in a distress signal. So what it means is if you're displaying a flag in this matter, it's a signal of dire distress. In instances of very extreme danger to your life or to your property. That is why they were holding the flag upside down. I don't know if that was a last-ditch effort move. I don't know if that was maybe just like a plan B that these people had because we need more attention to come towards this movement and towards what parents in California are fighting for, because clearly our media continues to fail us. They are not reporting properly. Even the Sacramento Bee that was there, what were their headlines recently on the parents that were here? You know, we keep getting called vaccine skeptics. They're not calling us what we are, which is parents of vaccine-injured children. So we get that, and I think that we'll see how it plays out. I guess we kind of know how the media is going to paint it, but them doing that and standing up, you know, and then the cops being called, I think that these people forget, you know, if you're a taxpayer in California, you paid for that room that those people are sitting in, that room that looks like it was from the 50s, that like gets vacuumed, but it's pointless to vacuum because what are you picking up on that green, like it just is so, I'm telling you, the government handling money is just such a bad idea to begin with. You're talking about a government that's trillions of dollars in debt, right? So we paid for that. You paid, California. The microphone that Lorena is speaking into, your money. That's what you paid for. These public servants work for you. Your tax money goes to they're supposed to be doing their job, okay? You pay for all of that. You pay for them. They're supposed to be helping you. That entire room, those chairs that those girls were standing on, we paid for those chairs. We paid for that. So for them to have the nerve of like, well, we're allowing this, or we're going to like give you guys the break. You don't get to give us anything. Okay? So how dare these people? It's like failure to even, you know. But that's just so you guys know what that meant with them standing up on that. She had the nerve to tweet out that she's worried about injury. You know, I don't want them to injure themselves on the like, who are you lying to, Lorena? You don't care about injury. Clearly, there's too many vaccine injured people and their children standing right in front of you, but for you, it's a perceived medical condition. You don't care about injury. Why are you acting like you care about anybody getting injured? Because you don't. Probably their liability. No, because that looked like, and you know, I like those girls that went up there, but it looked like they made an informed decision to stand up on a chair. So if something were to happen and they were to fall off, like it was their choice to do that, and then they'd be like liable for themselves. The cops can't come in and arrest these people. You know that how long that took when they threatened that cops would come in and have to take. I said there's no way that this is taking more than 5 minutes for cops to show up. So what you know is that cops were there. They're already there in the building and on site. They know that they have zero ground to arrest these women on. These are women who are peacefully protesting a tyrannical bill. These are parents who are chanting, not screaming, chanting. And I'm going to get to that part next there. So Nevada mom, Monica's on. My Nevada moms, we have some work cut out for us. We will have to discuss on likely a separate platform from here. Trust that our mission here is to un-California Nevada because our religious exempts are about to spike up. I know that that's partly my fault. I apologize, okay? I apologize. I'm like second guess thinking, you know what, I got this like organic matcha here and it's just, I think I put way too much. So I hope I'm not up at like 5 in the morning, like till 5 in the morning, you know. Because a lot of what we're doing in Nevada is very We're not really like advertising all of it. Okay, so during January, February, we had a bill here called AB 123, where it was also, they were on the verge of kind of going after religious exempts. Monica, you remember that one. It was way too far for me to get to. I still at the time had my 6-month-old, but I definitely called all day, emailed every single person. I got this. There were a lot of moms who drove all the way up or were in the area at the Capitol here for us, our Capitol, and they fought that. Like they fought that. They crushed that bill, and they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing without really advertising any of it. What's going to have to happen is that these people coming in, let them just do what they need to do. They're likely going to go get these religious exempts. These things are going to spike up, but we are going to inform parents here in a way like no other, meaning to say, if you're coming out here getting a religious exempt, welcome. Welcome to Nevada. Welcome to the fight, because we are not going to let what happened in California happen here, guaranteed, all right? Lorena, the likes of Lorena, they aren't even going to make it. Clark County is pretty liberal, but we got some boots on the ground type work that we're going to be doing, and it's not going to be Instagram warrior type crap, okay? Just trust me on that one. So if you have plans to come to Nevada, if you have plans to come to Arizona, if you got plans to come to Texas, you better have plans to stay woke, all right? You don't just get to come here and like, oh, let me just sign. No. You better have plans to hold your representatives accountable in a big way, all right? We're not letting Lorena's happen here. You know how we still got like Wild Wild West here in Nevada. There's a town 40 minutes away. This is how badly they don't want any blue in their town, okay? It's called Pahrump. They still have like legalized prostitution there and brothels. Yeah, you heard that right. That's like where all these guys like Lamar Odom come and they go to this town, okay? This is how badly they didn't want. I thought California was bad because you guys elected in a higher gas tax. You know the whole BS on the higher gas tax? That had nothing on what happened in Pahrump. We elected in a dead pimp, okay? There was a guy who runs these brothels. He's pretty much a pimp, old man. 3 weeks before the election, okay, so it was him against some like liberal school teacher. And he had the red, he had the R next to his name. They just don't want it. He died 3 weeks before the election, like of a heart attack. And he still won the election. He still won. This town, not too far from here, was like, yeah, no, we'd rather just the dead guy man all of it. We'd rather the dead guy over a liberal. So, look it up. They called him the Trump of Pahrump. So, why we had to squash that one was because bills like this, people don't realize there's what's called a database security and discrimination portion of these bills. The database is not only a threat to privacy, it's a threat to public safety, which puts families in direct danger. Just by SB 276 in California alone, there are over 31 million health breaches. Just in America. Let me backtrack. There have been over 31 million health breaches in just our databases. This, having children who have these kind of exemptions, having children who have to, being put in a database like this with the incompetence that is our government and this kind of information being able to come out, the breach, any kind of breach would give these people, and they're Looney Tunes out there. They're Looney Tunes. I'm going to see if any of this pulls up. Just check out some of these threats. And these threats were saved. They were saved by a group, which Facebook removed their group already. It was PERC Group. They were protecting educational rights for children. But of course, Facebook, anything that is like a group like that, they remove it. So check out some of these that they had to save. And I am not blocking off these people's names because these people were making legitimate threats. Check these out for yourself. Okay? This one in particular, if you don't vaccinate your child, I'll throw it off a bridge. Okay? Look at threats like this. Anti-vaxxers should be hung or hanged. Anti-vaxxers contribute to, look at this one. What's he saying there? Anti-vaxxers contribute to spreading disease amongst their children. Okay? I'm talking, look at some of these things that people, this is what the mob zombie crowd out there, this is what they think, and this is the fault of the media. This is the media's fault that these people think this way. What about this? I hope your unvaccinated kids effing die. Your mommy research is not sound medical advice. When the next outbreak comes to town, I hope your kids effing die, and you know that you 100% could have prevented their death with the vaccine. Stupid, moronic, stay-at-home mom with zero scientific literacy. Okay? Check out some of these comments. I'm telling you, these comments exist in the internet. And these people, their names aren't gonna, I don't know why this is cutting it off here. I'm keeping some of it. I have it all here. I could post it to the stories right after. But this is why a breach would be very devastating, and people aren't even realizing the severity of what a bill like this is going to do. Okay? What is this one? And if your kid gives my vaccinated kid measles and he dies from it, I'll murder your child in front of you. Just saying. All right? How about that, Peach? What about that one below? You're the definition of a CUNT. Oh, I can't cuss right now. My kids are around. Oh, and I believe in extremely dumb SHIT for my child, so let's put all the other childs at risk. I wish you the worst. Comment below it. Also, your child looks like she has autism already. Wouldn't change much. So does your husband. Okay? These are the people. These are the people that want you to vaccinate your kids that they call crotch goblins for the herd. This is the herd. Okay? I think people really need to see this kind of hatred that's out there. I hope your anti-vax kids die. XOXOX. This is what people are saying. If you bring a non-vaccinated kid around mine, I'll bunt your kid like a football. Okay? Kelly Strickler, perhaps it's the way people always reply to you because it's what you deserve, to be treated like the moron you repeatedly show yourself to be. Upon further consideration, I'm glad you don't vaccinate your kids. Hopefully something fatal takes out you and your whole family, and then the world will be a slightly smarter place. That's what that one says, all right? These are absolutely disgusting people. These are disgusting people. What about this one? There's his Twitter handle there. Vaccinate your effing kids, you effing degenerate CUNTs. Anti-vaxxers are a plague. Their uneducated ideology needs to be eradicated like effing measles was in the UK. It's selfish to choose to not vaccinate your children. All right? Below it is a girl named Kathleen Anderson. You should be given a mega dose of vaccine straight to your brain and then poofed, gone. Good riddance to a piece of trash like you. I don't like sheeple like you. Go die in a F and rot in hell, no loss. Okay? So I feel like I've shown, there was one underneath by a guy named David Smith. Anti-vaxxers, it's pointless reporting our comments. This is what I'm reading now, that one on the very bottom. Sorry if you guys can't see it, but anti-vaxxers, it's pointless reporting our comments or accounts because we're not going anywhere. We have multiple accounts. It only inspires us to target you even further. So I will remind you again, we will target you. We will target your employers. We will target your family and friends, and we will make sure you are ostracized. We don't want you in our communities. You are filth and scum. Be warned. Who speaks like this? Who talks like this, guys? This is sick. This is sick and incredibly evil. And this is why I've got such a hatred right now, and I don't even like having to say that word, but I've got this just anger inside of me with the media. This is the media's fault. Because every article, every time we go out and we're just trying to inform people, we are called a threat. So you got to imagine, right? Because yes, these people are scummy for saying these kind of things. Yes, they have yes, they're the zombies of they are only listening to the lie box. They only have the television in front of them. Okay? And if they're hearing all day long that these diseases that were eradicated, which they never were, are coming back because of this sole group of people, and they are too blinded by their own ignorance, they'll never admit that they were the ones that didn't do the research. They'll never admit that they were the ones that trusted their doctor, okay, who has no liability. So this is what they see day in and day out. You guys know, many of you who have parents that are just so inundated with the politics in this country, and they sound like they just regurgitate either Fox News all day long or CNN all day long. What more of this stuff, right? This is why so many of them, they can't even own up to these little truths, because it's not that hard to see poison for poison, right? I mean, am I going crazy? I feel like I'm taking the crazy pills here. I don't know why how do I remove this? Are you guys still seeing that thing on my screen? I don't know how to remove it, but it's on my screen now. I got this like hate speech across my screen. That's real hate speech, okay? I just want you guys to know. My profile where I have highlights that are just informing others, my profile is shadow banned. How many of you have already messaged me? My husband, even when he tries to tag me in a post, he has to type my entire screen name. And he types my screen name all the time. It's like just linked to his profile. He has to type the entire screen name because my profile is shadow banned. Because I'm giving out misinformation. Yet these people here get to keep their accounts because many of these things I just read off, I checked, they're still on social media, they're still active. That's not hate speech. That's not hate speech to the mob. And what's sick, and you see it, the writing literally on the wall, they feel like it's justified. Which I tell you, if they corral all of us, and we got a lot of people awake, but if they're corralling people, these are the people that are going to be shouting hallelujah. They're actually going to think that it was a God send, that God wanted that. You know, that's why I'm telling you this is deep. It's just deeper than. So what would a breach do, right? They want to put all of these kids and these families in a database. In a database. Where looking us up, and you've seen those LA Times articles, what they were calling for, those journalists were calling for the same thing, like we need to register. Almost like we should be registering like sex offenders register. So that our addresses and information like that can be up. Really? So you might have a neighbor that thinks this way too, that thinks that you don't deserve your kids and your address is up there somewhere? Are you awake yet? Any breach into their incompetent systems, because you know that these people are so low IQ. You know that they are so incompetent that they're going to design something that's going to get breached. It's only a matter of time, okay? They don't know what they're doing, clearly. So what would happen in case of a breach in a system like this where they want to put all of our kids' information out there? It's going to give access to the addresses, identity, the doctors, the schools of any potentially undocumented or insufficiently documented immigrants, okay? That's what the breach would, for just going into, it's obviously going to be a breach for everybody. So those people are worried, which is why anybody that's on that side, which are the liberals, the bleeding heart liberals, I'm like, where was my point on that? That was my point. The bleeding heart liberals who care so much about these undocumented immigrants should care about security, the database security and discrimination. Okay? Any breach in the wrong hands is going to put all of our lives at risk. Medically fragile children being tracked and monitored is a target for those who do not understand that some children are compromised and cannot safely have vaccines. All children are compromised. By the way, if 54% of our children have chronic illness and autoimmune deficiencies, then just about every child, every other child shouldn't get a vaccine. And the ones that do, well, that's going to suck. They're going to, after the first round, now be a part of the autoimmune crowd. So that, I think, was the angle that many of us have to come from when it comes to speaking to Democrats, the people in blue, who care so much about the data breach when it comes to, ICE, because they don't want ICE to go after people. So then why don't they care about this? You've heard celebrities, sorry, I'm just late in the day and I'm tired. I was like, I'm going to wrap this. But you've heard of celebrities who, they've spoken about these kind of breaches. They're against all of this stuff. But why is it different than when it comes to the unvaccinated children? It's not different is your answer. Long story short, it's not different. I'm going to get into into a few other things on this and what this is going to mean now with California, which I'm sure as you're listening to me, you could probably be also going on realtor.com. There's so much great land out there. There's so many great other options. I know that if you're really, really stuck in California, then you're really, really stuck in California. But if you're like, well, maybe, the people who are like, I can't afford to live, well, you're talking about one of the most expensive states in the union. Okay, so if you can afford to be living in California, you likely could afford to be living anywhere. Just saying, if you're among that crowd. I'm going to skip to, got my Nevada residency today. Well, welcome. Well, welcome. We're going to do some things here. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it and banding with, just DM me. We're going to get some groups together. I got to get to what's happening next because on the live that I did yesterday, I talked about how California already has bigger problems, like the fact that they just made it legal for 17-year-olds to vote. Many of you are confused by that. Please look it up. It's legal now, or it's about to be for the next election cycle. 17-year-olds will be allowed to vote. They will politicize high schools, okay? Politicians are likely going to make some rounds at high schools because 17-year-olds can now vote in California. They are already convincing all of these students day in, day out because they have active shooter drills. They have active shooter drills starting at kindergarten. They're convincing these kids that guns kill people. So what do you think is going to happen, by the way, California, with any remaining gun laws that you have? Gone. Because you're going to be outnumbered very soon. You send your kids to these indoctrination centers. This is what's going to happen. Yes, I unschool at the end of the day with my kids. Yes, I'm on a 1 more year time crunch over here. I got to let Enzo grow up a little bit more, and I'm researching the best paths to take. Although I know that my kids are likely better off just staying at home and literally just staring at the ceiling. They'll learn more than going to any kind of school at this point. But I want you guys to, many of you know Amelia. I call her Dietz sometimes. Amelia, you can come by if you want. Just for a quick second, okay? I don't mean to bug you. She's there playing with her brother. This is my daughter, okay? She just turned 9. And I've been educating her on vaccines since she was 7. Because, even biblically, age 7 is the age of, it's the age of knowing good and evil, right? Right from wrong. So it's like, I could teach her about some evil now. She's 7. So, Amelia, why do we have to talk to our kids about vaccines, especially if your kids are going to school? Well, Because when your kids go to school and half their classmates, or more than half, have little Band-Aids on their arms because their mommies and daddies are giving them the flu shot, or they're taking them in for all these well checks, and you ask your friend, what is that? They say, I got the shot. Well, why'd you get that? The response is typically because my mommy loves me, my mommy cares for me. What would a kid think then if another kid told them that that's why they got these vaccines? Because that's what parents tell their kids who vaccinate, right? The parents who vaccinate, okay? What do you say to your kid when they're afraid? Because naturally a kid is going to be afraid of a needle going into their arm. They don't like it. So the response is typically, mommy's only doing this because she loves you. We're protecting you. So if a child that you're sending to school hears that, and they're not woke, they're going to think that their mommy and daddy doesn't want them protected, doesn't love them, naturally, right?
Yeah.
So I started teaching her definitely the basics. We do some one-on-one 101s, and you can go ahead and share a little bit about what you know about vaccines, if you're okay with doing that on here.
Okay. Well, what I know about vaccines is that mainly all the ingredients are poison, like aluminum, formaldehyde, polysorbate 80, which keeps women from getting pregnant. My mom taught me that they even tested it on animals, and they weren't able to have babies.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned that the Injury Act, the 1986 Injury Act was... at that time.
Yeah, that there's a 1986 Injury Act. And what does the act do? What does it mean?
Well, it shows us the injuries that people have gotten from the vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's VAERS, but the act is, I know you're like shaking.
Yeah.
Are you nervous? Don't be nervous. It's okay. It shows people, who are the people then that aren't liable for the product? That's what the Injury Act was, remember?
Doctors, nurses, the manufacturers are not liable
Mm-hmm.
for their product.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't test it.
Yeah. What happens when they tell you that thousands and thousands of kids are dying from these diseases? Like, what does that mean?
Well, that probably means that the vaccine's not safe, and you just have to protect us because you're a last line of defense in this century. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's important to stay informed and understand the basics, right?
Yeah.
You knew quite a few ingredients. What happened when I took you in for that last well check? What did you ask the nurse?
I asked the nurse, so what's in a vaccine? And she's like,
Which
I
one?
don't know.
Which vaccine was it?
The
The flu shot.
the flu shot, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, maybe some egg. And at that point, me and Mom were like, okay.
She said what?
She's like, I don't know, some egg. And at that point, you're just like, okay.
The only ingredient she knew about was the egg in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny because she doesn't know what she's talking about
So why don't you tell them what happened
in school.
when Mommy was in Sacramento and I come back and here I am already thinking, okay, she's in like this charter, brand new school, like kind of like, private. They're already, curriculum-wise, they're already like leaps and bounds above public school. She's learning cursive. She's taking violin. Like, it's great. It's a great school. And I come home, I sit down, and what did you tell me?
Well, I told you.
And you're in what grade?
I'm in 4th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you that in school we were taking a test on vaccines and who invented them and like the rabies shot. And they were saying that vaccines are safe, which they are not.
So Mommy leaves town for one day. And the irony, I sit down to dinner and she tells me that they learned about vaccines in school.
Yeah.
And what did you do? And so what did they teach you pretty much about vaccines, that they were safe and good?
Yeah, and like they tested on this boy because it's pastor something had no choice because this boy was sick. So he tested it on him, and like it worked, but
No.
it's not supposed to.
No.
Because it's
so we have to, okay, so now I gotta like jump off this live here and I gotta actually teach you about Louis Pasteur and like that history, which I just didn't have plans of doing on my Friday. But they're already teaching them 4th grade.
All of 4th grade.
All of 4th grade. And so what did you tell your teacher recently? What does your mommy need?
Well, I told my teacher that my mom needs the paper, the test, so that she could see like the writing and like
So, long story short,
scenes. Yeah.
I pretty much have a meeting on Tuesday. Wish me luck. The indoctrination starts young. If you are not talking to your children and educating them at 9, the school will educate them for you. And that's it. And that's all. Just had to let you guys know. This is already a kid who's pretty woke. She's woke to the fact, too, that you weren't going to, like, in class start schooling them, right? You just knew to stay quiet about it.
Yeah, but I really wanted to say something. My brain was just like, nope, 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 nope. And while my teacher was saying, vaccines are safe, and you know that all of our pets need the rabies shot, I'm like, no, 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 no. No. Not happening.
So that's a great, that sucked. I was like, went to California. And then when that happened, I was like, okay,
Homeschool.
I'm done. I guess I'm done with California. California seems done with itself. Time to work on Nevada. It's time to just, maybe that was a sign for me, like, hey, you've got work to do here. So, thank you for sharing that. I know you're a little bit nervous, but
Yeah.
but do you talk to any of your classmates about this stuff at all? Like, wasn't there a girl in your class that you guys
Well,
also?
yeah, one of my
Don't
friends.
say her name. Don't say her name on here. Okay.
One of my friends asked me, "Hey, Amelia, do you get vaccines?" And I just didn't say anything. She's like, "Well, cause I don't." And then she's like, "Because they have like monkey kidneys and."
So this is a girl in your class?
Well, she's like, and they're also like not safe, and her mom doesn't vaccinate her, which is good.
Okay, so you already found a woke classmate.
Yeah.
Okay,
Technically.
stick to that girl. Okay, that's
Yeah.
probably gonna be like your only real friend this year.
Yeah.
And like maybe the only party that you'll be invited to. Do you like her at least? Does she seem pretty cool?
Yeah, she's pretty cool. She's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet she's nice. I bet she's alert.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, my love.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you want to add to this?
Don't vaccinate. And
What about, can
technically-
you give some of these parents here a little bit of hope and like a little bit of encouragement so that they could speak to their kids about it?
Yeah.
Like, is it, is it too much information to take in? Does it make you just really sad and scared? Like, how do you feel about all this happening?
Yeah.
Just be honest.
Well, it's kind of like really scary for me, but you guys got to share information. Don't be scared of that. I mean, I'm already writing in my notebook about all these ingredients, and yeah, you just gotta step up to the plate and do your part. Like, you're the last line of defense in this century, so
Step
hopefully.
up, right? Step
Yeah.
up, parents. Okay, your kids can take it. They can take this information, all right? So, well, I love you.
Yep.
Yep.
And even if you just know one ingredient, you already know like more than a nurse would.
Did you guys hear that? Even if you know more than one ingredient, you already know more than a nurse. So, all right, my love. This is just sad. You know, when mommy was your age, I didn't have to learn about stuff like this. And it's because my parents just trusted the system, and we also didn't have as many of these things to deal with or to worry about. It was a different time.
Yeah.
But, every generation is going to have its hardships. Every generation has its struggles politically, just economic struggles and things that people fight for. And this is just our generation's struggles.
I think this is probably be the worst struggle in generation. This is the worst.
It is pretty bad because a lot of kids have problems.
Yeah.
Are there kids in your class, you think, that have a lot of, issues, or does it seem okay in school?
Well, yeah, most of them seem okay. They're all good.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. She's trying to jump off right now. You're welcome. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was Amelia. Go teach your brother some more ingredients. I don't know if
Okay.
Sebastian, get over here. Go bring Sebby over here.
Okay.
So Sebastian's only 6, and he's starting slowly. I've had her share on here before. She knows quite a bit, but like you saw in the shaking and they're scared. And there's some nights where she comes up to me and she's like, "Mommy, are you going to be okay?" Because she sees what's happening to these other parents out there and their kids. So they worry, and it's like a fear that I don't want her to have to go through. You want to say hi for a second? This one's going to start his education soon. This is Sebastian, okay? He's only 6. But, so I was going to wait a little bit, but of course he's already hearing it from his sister because that's how this whole thing works. It's not just the homeschooling or the kid. The older siblings teach the younger siblings, and it's just great that way, right? So, what do you know about vaccines?
There's mostly poison.
There's poison. That's all you know. Yeah. That's enough. That's enough. Well, yeah. I'll bring you on here in another year or something, and then you could tell us what you know, okay?
Bring me on in 2 years.
2 years, okay. The second child, right? So, all right, sweet. Anyway, so I'm just saying, you guys, it's definitely something that you can make a conversation. It doesn't have to start. So with Amelia, for instance, oh, you're still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. With Amelia, for instance, here's how we started for those that are like, okay, well, how do you even go about it? Start with a box in your pantry, okay? Pull out a box of goodies or a snack or something and look over ingredients. Start with an ingredient or a box at the grocery store. This is why mommy doesn't want to buy this GMO product. Well, what is a GMO, mommy? What is red dye, whatever? What are these ingredients? And then go into it like that, because let's forget the vaccine conversation. Me just not wanting to buy my kid hot Cheetos or buy her Doritos, they have a lot of questions. But the school serves us Doritos. But my friends' moms give them Doritos. And they're going to immediately think, you're going to be sitting back going, well, I am, because you're woke, you're so woke. You're like, well, whatever, I'm protecting my kids' system. I'm doing the best for them. They're sitting back, though, if you're not informing them and having these conversations, they're thinking you're being just really mean. Because other kids' moms let them have Diet Coke, Other kids' moms feed them all of that stuff. So you have to explain yourself, and they will understand, and you're not buying that stuff, so you're not having, that's what I'm saying. If you're like, well, I don't have crap like that in my pantry, go to the grocery. Go show your kids the difference between the health food section, and then everything else, so that they can understand where you're coming from. And they will eventually, they'll make that informed decision. They're going to eat the goldfish still if it comes up to them. They're going to eat the crap every now and then. I see that they'll do that. And then they'll realize, yeah, I got a tummy ache tonight. Why? Because I ate that gummy or I ate that sour string, So it's starting like that with your kids. Just letting them understand that you are coming from a place of love too. And don't go saying that these other parents are morons. Because half the stuff I tell Amelia too, I can't repeat, And don't worry, I'm not going to share any detention letters or anything here. Because Amelia she has had her since kindergarten. We have a collection of letters from teachers just where she debates them. And we've had to have conversations where it's just you have to choose your battles. This one wasn't worth it, So, but I don't want to teach her ever to stop questioning, which is what they're doing to us right now. You should never be afraid of another human being,
Yeah.
right? We're all human beings. We're all capable of human error. Even adults make mistakes,
Yep.
right? You can respect the position of an adult who's in authority, like the teacher, without saying anything that's going to be offensive to them,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
But don't ever let another human being, regardless of their age, make you feel any less of a person, especially for asking a question.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag. You're right. Just little things like that every now and then, So, all right, my love. I love you.
I love you too. That's why they call me One in a Million. I ask so many questions. So many.
Yeah, her nickname's been One in Amelia. Because she does. She's just not stopped talking, really. I wonder where she gets it from. All right. Well, I'm going to move on to this next thing. I don't know if you want to hear about it, but that's up to you. So,
Okay.
Anyway, you guys, I hope that encourages you, and I hope that it encourages your kids even. I also, Jeff and I get a bit back and forth on whether we want our kids' faces out there. Amelia, when she's in public with other kids, it's easier for her, obviously, to just be talking to other kids. It's just she's very natural about it. And so we're working on that. I just don't know if I want like her face out there for obvious reasons, right? Little woke kids. But these kids are the future. And this is also why, at the rate she's going, let's say I was in worst case scenario, what many of these moms are facing in California, if you're like a single parent and you really just can't homeschool your kid for all the other reasons, I at least would be sending off my woke kids. This is the future. They're going to be the ones that are going to be educating these 17-year-olds that are about to place their vote. Yes, the indoctrination is so thick, it's so deep, but they're still young enough and their brains are still obviously easy to mold, which is what these schools know, which is what the government knows. So they can just tribe up with each other. And I think that we are underestimating our younger generation right now. We are underestimating these kids, and they are the future. And I've shared this before. I know a lot of you who really can sense a lot of energy, and you're just very deep in your own spirituality and in prayer. There is something, right, that's very promising about this with a lot of these woke children when they get together. Because when she gets together with my friends and their kids and they're all just pretty informed, it's like this aura about them. I'm not just talking about my own kids. I know, and many of you are probably sitting back nodding and in agreement with this. There is this old soul, right? Do you guys feel that sometimes? I just get goosebumps sometimes thinking about it with these kids. A lot of them who are woke, they have a very old soul about them. And they have purpose. They have purpose. A lot of our generation, as you've seen with these threatening things and this kind of mob, zombie, whatever online, they're a lost cause. But there is a lot of hope in the future. I want us to focus on that, okay? I want us to focus on that because today was so drowning. Today was so energy sucking. But you got to look at these kids. You got to look at these kids who can think critically and understand, She's chose to stick around.
I liked listening to
One in Amelia. You got to have a YouTube channel like that.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No YouTube channel. It's going to be a private account, but One in Amelia. I love that.
Me too.
So, do you notice that? I noticed that too with my babies. When Seb was barely 2 years old, there's something about him. It's almost like they were placed here and they're going to be the saving grace in all of this. Not us. And I've shared this before. It's okay, us parents who want to be the saviors of the day. We want to be the the warriors, the whatever. Well, not really. Some of us would rather just disappear altogether. We just want to be left alone, actually. But maybe this is not for you. understand, guys, that maybe you were just the launching pad for the rocket ships, okay? You're not going to be the one that's going to jet set off. They're going to jet set off, but you get to be the launching pad, and that's okay, all right? Get them woke. They will be able to understand. They will be able to grasp this information, because it's better that this information comes from you than from this incompetent just nation right now, okay? That they've lost they're trillions of dollars in debt, and they get to teach your kids. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I just wanted to leave off today with something encouraging, you know? I mean, I don't want to get too much more into. We understand what these mandates are going to mean. We understand the devastation that's headed their way. California, a lot of the people that are still asleep to this, a lot of the people that are not, they don't know what's coming. It's like a runaway train heading right for them, heading right for their houses. So the most you could do is pray for these people. But it's going to take a lot of these parents for them to wake up that their own children are going to be sacrificed to the herd. We know that, which is why many of us were in tears today over the ruling, which is why many of us are just beside ourselves, because we know that it is the absolute innocence that's going to be affected by this the most. It is the innocent that hasn't even been born yet. We as parents, we are the portal. Our bodies, mothers, we are the portal from heaven for this baby to come into this world, okay? That's what you are. That's what your body is. Don't let society lie to you. Don't let society tell you that that's just a fetus and it doesn't matter, and that you matter more and your selfishness matters more. What's happening right now needs to happen, because people need to wake up, okay? It needs to happen, because this is why her generation is going to be able, it's almost like they get to see the promised land and many of us don't. Some of us will, which is, I'm just like, they're going to get to see the promised land. We will not, because of what we've done. The fact that half of our nation right now is okay with 2,000 babies being murdered every day via abortion, and it's because we don't even recognize babies as human beings. That's why we are not going to be able to see it, most of us, but they're going to get to carry on that torch. Okay? And we have to just accept that. We're not even fighting for those that have no voice yet. All of what's happening right now has to happen. Understand it. It has to happen. It has to see its way through. Because we have, not we, me and you personally, if you're woke, but this, what society is, what it's become right now, the degenerates, we have ruined it. They're going to come and fix it, though. Yeah. Okay? Know that they're going to come and fix it. We got a lot of warriors that are still in the works right now. A lot of these kids are about to really rise up, and we just don't even know it yet. And it's going to be a sight to see. All right? It sucks. A lot of it sucks because it's the unknown, and I'm just like trying to keep it together too. She's going, yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll carry that torch. Yep. They'll carry that torch. They're going to say, how did our generation before us allow this? How did they allow all of this? Half of them are going to be poisoned. They're graduating right now with 1 in 6 on a psychotropic drug. How did this happen? And you could be looking over there at your little babe that you've protected, and you know what? Ultimately, the ones we protect, what happens? They turn around and they come and protect us, okay? We just don't treat them like dirt. We don't treat them like they're lesser than. We let them know every day that they have value in their lives, that their lives are and always have been valuable. It is deeper than all of this. It's deeper than all of this. If you can't work on your neighbor right now, if you can't work on your sister-in-law or on your mom or on your dad, you got a lot of future in front of you. And if all of us woke can just keep on breeding, just keep on having some more woke kids, okay? Please. That's like going to be the saving grace here. Monica's going, I'm working on everyone right now. Blast me. Where am I right? Are you in the dentist? You said you were in the dentist one time blasting my live. I try, you guys. Sometimes I get inspiring on here, and no joke, I turn this off and I'm like, because it's not that I don't believe what I'm saying. I just sometimes need to hear what I'm saying too, and like really take it. That was on Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, I know you can't be at the dentist like too many times. There's no way. Someone over there is working on baby number 8. Well, wow. There you go. There's hope. It's sitting in front of us. And the kids need to be reached. And you know what? Let's come full circle on this. The government knows that the kids need to be reached. They know, they know that the children need to be reached. So they already gave us our answer. For those sitting back going, what do we do? How do we change things? The kids. They're going after the kids. You better go after some kids. Okay? They're going after these kids. Did you hear me? You better go wake up some kids. You're not going to be able to wake up your 50-year-old neighbor at this point, all right? But can you maybe talk to a 14-year-old about the HPV? Without being creepy. Like, don't just go up to a random 14, get creative about it, for sure. But why do we need to hit up these teenagers right now? Forget teenagers, 4th graders.
Hello.
So we have to work on, next up, we got to work on being incognito about sharing information, right? Without getting into trouble about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only for like one more year, because you know that you're done with school after this, right?
Most likely.
Can you just at least learn enough about the violin so that, like, the basics of the violin, so that I don't have to teach you the starting stuff, but I could teach you, like, the fun stuff after when you already know the notes?
Yeah.
Yeah? Just get at least that out of the way. That's okay. Get to some pre-algebra stuff, and then I can handle the rest from there. Yeah, we should be good.
Yeah.
She's going to help me out because she's got way more patience than me to teach her brother. So we've already got a system in place. Yeah, we really do. So, all right, guys. See, I talk to my kids like this. They know. I hope that was somewhat helpful. I'm going to jump off. So I'm going to try to enjoy the rest of the weekend with the kids. Remind myself that life is worth living, and we'll chat soon. So take care, you guys. Bye.
Bye.